I'm sitting here getting ready to record this exciting episode, and I'm wondering, do you do you on a regular basis, or maybe have you ever, or do you push beyond your own physical perceived limitations? Because I tend to do this quite a bit. I don't know that I've always done it, but it's just kind of become a way of life for me. And I just this past weekend I did another triathlon. And today I want to share my story with you. And my goal today in this episode is to inspire you to actually do things more regularly that scare you and excite you at the same time so that you can push your own limits, your own perceived physical limitations so you can reach your ultimate physique goals. That's what I'm trying to say. Your own physique, your own ultimate physique goals. That's what I want to talk about today. Hey, girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. So it's just me and you today, girl. Thank you for tuning in once again. As I said, I'm going to be talking about my triathlon experience that I had this past weekend. I want to share with you my story. I want to share with you some things that I learned. I'm going to give you all of the details and answer probably some of your questions that you might have about my whole experience. If you follow me on social media, I did a reel. I shared my story on there. You know how that goes. It's just like 60 seconds and a bunch of pictures. So I want to give you all the details. And like I said, my goal for this episode for you is to inspire you to step out and do something that scares you, that pushes you beyond your perceived limitations. Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah, your perceived limits. And I'm looking at my notes because believe it or not, I'm still getting used to doing my podcast episode via video, but we're doing this, girl. And one day, this right here is going to be like, I'm not going to have to be worried so much about all these little details that takes me like forever and a day to just hit record and go. So I'm doing this. And so I want to share with you my story about the training that I did, about my mental barriers, the things, how I broke through them, my physical limitations, my challenges that I had during my training, as well as the challenges I had during the actual event and the race, and probably some other personal things that I want to share with you. And like I say, so you can be inspired. Do you do triathlons? I'm wondering. Maybe you can send me a note and let me know that you do. I want to know how many people out there in my listening audience do triathlons. It's something, right? Because it's not a strength training sport. It's not a Spartan race, which one day I hope I get to do a Spartan race. That's kind of on my bucket list. Not kind of. It is on my bucket list, and I want to do one. But it's all cardio. It's very challenging, and you got to do the training. You got to do the training, especially if you want to enjoy it, right? Okay, so let's get started. Let me dive in. Enough dilly-dallying around. So why did I make the decision to sign up for this triathlon? And I want to share with you why. If I'm counting correctly, I've done a total now of five sprint triathlons, not anything, really, really long length. They've all been sprint triathlons, so for this one that I just did, it was called the Tri Girl Sprint Triathlon. And it was a 300-yard swim. It was a 10-mile bike ride, and it was a 5K run. All right. So why I signed up, and when I say five, this is I want to say third triathlon I've done in the past year and a half. Yeah, year and a half. The first two triathlons I did was like years ago, and it was before I had kids. Yeah, very, very green, very wet behind the ears there. I've learned a lot since then. So what made me get into doing this triathlon this time? I did one earlier this year. It was fun. It was a great experience. I even went over, there's a podcast episode on that one. I feel like I should listen to that one and see what I had to say about it. But, why did I do this one? Here's the thing. I am in this group of women in a messenger group on Facebook. Okay. And how we know each other is not they all pretty much know each other, like really know each other. And one of those sweet ladies put me in this group about a year ago. She was just really nice, really kind. We all kind of know each other from local cycling groups. But these ladies all, they like to participate in triathlons. So she put me in this group, and I've kind of been sort of like not a I'm not like, I don't know what to say. I'm not just sitting back. Like, I do participate in conversation from time to time. I might have something to say. I love, I encourage in there. I don't share a whole lot. I'm kind of a quiet person in there, just because I don't really know them, right? They don't really know me, and I just don't spend a lot of time on social media consuming and being a part of that, because I'm doing social media in other ways, and you know this about me. So anyway, they were talking about doing a triathlon, and I thought, hey, this would be kind of fun. This one sounds fun. This is all female triathlon, and this would be a chance to get to know them. So I signed up. I signed up for this triathlon, and I don't even remember when it was, but it was definitely before I injured my knee. Okay. So I wanted to do this. I wanted to connect. I've actually been wanting to connect with more people in person and more women locally. And not because I feel like I need it, like, oh, I just really got to have that, because I got plenty, as you know, girl, I have plenty of interaction with you and everybody on social media and in my Rockstar community in RTF, plenty. But I did this because for me, it's kind of like a push. It's like pushing me out to do something I don't really feel like I want to do or normally do. I want to learn. I want to learn why. Why is it that I'm not doing that? And what do I have to learn? I learned a lot. It was a really great experience. And like I said, I'm going to share that with you. So I signed up for it with them. What were my doubts and fears? The question is, what are my doubts and fears? I'm asking you, if you were to sign up for a triathlon, a 5K, a 10K, a run, something, an event to train for and get ready for, ask yourself this question, what would be your doubts and fears? And when I sit here and I think to myself, what are my doubts and fears? Right away, immediately, I'm saying, I can't really think of any really doubts and fears, because I don't set, like, I don't know, like, when I set a goal, and I'm going to talk about this too. When I set a goal, I'm not thinking to myself that I have to achieve things perfectly. And I've come a long way. I didn't used to think this. Okay. So, but we are human. And I think that, yes, it's not like I never have fears and doubts. Of course I do. Well, what are my fears and doubts? Simple things like, what's going to be happening during that time in my schedule, in my life, in my business? Am I going to be able to actually do this? Am I actually going to follow through with the training so that I can show up to this triathlon? Those are the kind of things. So I can show up to this triathlon and perform at a level that I would like to perform for myself. These are the things I think about now. But given years ago, before I had ever done a triathlon, of course, I had all the fears. I didn't know what to expect. I don't know, what do I need to have with me? What are all of the things I should have? What's the equipment I need? Where does everything go? Where am I going to set up? What does a transition look like? How do you transition? How much time should you give yourself to transition? What are some tips and tricks to do the transition? So I had all these things. And of course, that's a fear, right? Because what if you forget something? Or what if you are really slow or you mess up or whatever, and these kind of doubts and fears come into my mind when I haven't done it. And I hadn't done it for years. So when I went back to doing it last year for the first time in many, many years, I did definitely have some doubts and fears about it. Like, I didn't know, right? Because it's the fear of the unknown. It's like uncertainty. But I like that kind of stuff, because for me, it's a challenge, and it's very exciting to try to overcome the fears, overcome the uncertainties, the things I don't know. I love that challenge. I know a lot of people have to kind of force themselves to get to that point. But anyway, it was a way for me to push myself beyond. Well, for me, when I say perceived limitations for myself, it's kind of like, I want to see, can I do better than last time? And most women fear signing up for events like this, or they fear signing up for a goal or something. The fear. What is the fear behind that? I sent out an email today about this. I wonder what you think about this. I wonder what your thoughts are on this. But it seems to me like there's two really big fears that women have about setting a goal or signing up for some kind of event. And that is, like, the fear that you're not going to do very well, that you're not good enough, that you're going to disappoint yourself or disappoint others because there's a certain expectation, that you have a perceived expectation of what it looks like to reach that goal, to actually do the event or whatever the goal is. There's like a fear, and that fear comes from this place of not feeling like you're good enough, not feeling like you're cut out to do it, or these kind of things, right? And so that's kind of one of the biggest things that I think that causes these fears. And we can remove these fears, and hopefully I can remember to come back around to this topic of how we can maybe not remove the fear, but just know how to manage those fears, right? So for me, I didn't really have a fear, because when I think about signing up for an event, how I manage that fear is knowing that I don't have to show up and do things perfectly. Also, there is no such thing as perfection, and nobody's showing up to the event perfectly, and nobody is showing up to the event feeling 100%, 110% confident that they're going to do amazing and blow the socks off of everybody. Like, nobody's showing up like that. Like, we're all in this coming in like with the uncertainty of, I wonder how this is going to go. I wonder if there's going to be, certain challenges along the race course that I'm going to have to overcome. I wonder if I'm going to have a flat tire, if I'm going to have to overcome some kind of equipment failure. There's a lot of things that there are some uncertainties and some fears, but that's part of the excitement of the whole thing. You don't know what's coming, what's going to happen. We all show up like this, right? So we're all kind of in the same boat. Like, we don't know. We're just in it to have I'm in it to have a good time. Some people are in there to be really competitive. But for me, that fear's not there, because I'm just thinking, I'm not showing up here to be perfect. And it's more relaxing, it's more fun, it's more enjoyable when I show up to know that today I'm just here to prove, not really prove myself, but to see what I'm made of. How did the training that prepared me for this day, how did it go? How can I perform today? Is my performance going to reflect the training that I put in? And also, what's going to be the outcome of all the training and actually doing this event? And I get real excited. It's just exciting to experience it all. And I love to just experience the whole thing, going out of town, especially, and experiencing a new place, a new town, new people, a new event that I haven't been a part of. It's just the entire thing, something exciting to look forward to and just take in all of the moments. So I can't really say that I have any perceived scary limitations. I just kind of take things as they come. And so let me move on here. Let's talk about overcoming doubts. Let's talk about the training and preparation that I did, and any kind of breaking any mental barriers that I had, and how maybe you can do the same thing. So what were some of the doubts that I felt like that maybe I had to overcome? Okay. And so, yeah, of course there are. Some of the doubts in my training and my training and my mental state and physical barriers. Those are the things I want to talk about when I talk about these 3 ways that I train. So let's talk about swimming, my favorite. And no, if you know me, you know that the swimming part, I am a strong swimmer. I'll give you that, but it's not my favorite. I tend to find swimming laps boring. It's kind of boring. What's the word? I don't even like to use the word boring, because I kind of feel like it's how I give it meaning. And I feel like if I call something boring, it's kind of like, that's on me, like, to make it not boring. Right. So, but I do kind of equate it to being on a treadmill, especially the way that I've been training, and I've been training tethered, because I don't have an Olympic pool. And for me to carve out the time to actually use an Olympic pool, and the timing and the day and and the limitations they have on their schedule would be a lot. And so rather than to deal with all of that, I swim tethered in my pool. And it could be boring, but so what I did, I overcame these limitations. That limitation was that, I don't have an Olympic style pool and work in, so I'm going to do it tethered. That's what I've been doing, tethered. So I overcame some things. I learned how to get that thing tethered the right way, so that line is angled in the right way so that I'm staying pretty much in the center of the pool, which there's some variables to that having to do with my stroke, my swim stroke, and how I'm positioning my entire body as I'm swimming in place, because depending on how I'm swimming, I'm going to be going towards one side or the other of the pool. So that's something I had to overcome. But the boring part, this is the most exciting part to me, is that at first I was swimming with a speaker of music on the outside of the pool. It would be a dream, right, to be able to swim with music in my ears, which I've been looking and searching and researching and trying to find ways to do that. But to make a long story short, I did find a way to do it. It's not necessarily music in my ears. They're bone conducting headphones that are waterproof. They're actually for swimming. Now, this is interesting. This definitely took things to another level for me to actually enjoy my swimming training. But I learned this. Did you know, this is going to sound so weird, like, I don't know, geeky elementary. You probably knew this. I didn't know this. It makes total sense now, but I didn't think about it. Okay. Did you know that you cannot, even if you had waterproof headphones, whatever, bone conducting headphones, anything that goes underwater, the connection for Bluetooth doesn't work. You don't have Bluetooth in water. It's not going to transmit through water. So there goes the idea of transmitting Bluetooth, whatever I wanted to listen to from my phone. No, but I did find some fantastic bone conducting waterproof headphones by Shocks and I had a pair of Shocks bone conducting headphones, but they weren't waterproof. But anyway, I was able to put some music on these things. It's got an MP3 player built in so that I could listen to music. Game changer. So it wasn't boring anymore. Now I can swim to the beat, swim. I could change my stroke after one song. I would go freestyle for a while for one song, and then I would do breaststroke for a whole song. It was a great game changer for me, for my training, for my swim. I overcame it. So yeah. Here's one thing I didn't know. This is a fun one that I was uncertain about, and that was my pace. Because I'm swimming in a tethered pool by tether, I didn't know how fast I'm swimming. I don't know how long it takes me to do a yard or however long, the race is. I didn't know what my pace was, which is kind of funny, and I'll talk about that a little bit later when I tell you my story about the actual race. Okay, let's move on. So swimming, I feel pretty good about it. I feel like I could have definitely done some more training. My goal going into my training was to train on Mondays and Fridays before I went to the gym. And I pretty much was able to do that just about every Monday. I actually threw in some Wednesdays too. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, mostly Mondays and Wednesdays, I got my swim training in by tether before I went to the gym in the morning. Now cycling, of course, by the way, my injured knee, if you've been following me, I have this injured knee, and I found out, so little side note on an update. If you don't know this, I found out this past week, and I cried a river of tears after getting the results of my MRI, that I have a small horizontal lateral meniscus tear, which what I've been told, and I haven't had a full follow-up, and I haven't asked all of the questions, and I haven't had a chance to do enough research yet. But what I was told is that having a horizontal meniscus tear is not repairable. They can trim it, and that's supposed to help relieve pain, but there's no repair for it, and it does not heal on its own. So that's all the information I had gotten. And yes, I do have a sports orthopedic doctor. And I am scheduled to have a follow-up appointment with him. It's going to be a little, I've got about a week or so away until I go and see him. Until now, yeah, but he did give me the go ahead to do the triathlon. He was not concerned about it, so I did. So anyway, swimming, right? Swimming did not cause any undue harm or damage, or it wasn't strenuous or high impact on my knee, so it was not a big deal. Now, when it came to the running and the cycling, I did have to be careful about that. And so with cycling, I have had to decrease my mileage quite a bit. So I learned that if I did miles past 20 to 22 miles, that's when my knee would be not happy with me. So with my cycling, I did my best to, I knew the race was 10-mile bike rides. So I was putting in 20 to 22 miles whenever I would go out, but simply because I wanted to put in that much time cycling for my, cardiovascular aerobic fitness. And I didn't push myself too terribly hard. I pretty much stayed at a pretty good pace out there. I don't know, 16, maybe 17. I was kind of keeping that pace. I didn't want to push too hard because I knew that that would cause more pain on my knees. So I kept it about there. Um, and running, well, there was pretty much next to no running, right? Because that was going to aggravate, even though I did try a couple of different times before I knew what my injury was. I was doing a lot of things to try to heal it. Like I did red light therapy. I did dry needling a few times. Of course, ice therapy, heat therapy, physical therapy. I did met my exercises, and of course, I continued with my strength training. So I was doing all those things, and then I would do some interval training with running. I would do go out and try to do 1 minute baby jog and then a 2-minute walk, 1 minute baby jog, 2-minute walk. And I would do that for about 45 minutes, close to an hour. And that really would aggravate. So the next time I did that interval training, this was still before I knew I had a real injury. I decreased it. I would do 1 minute of a jog, and then I did 3 minutes of a walk. But still, that was still aggravating my knees. So I had to back off completely from the running. And then I found out, so I just did not run hardly at all. I had to rely on my cycling to get me through if I was going to run in the triathlon or not. And I wanted the opportunity to run in the triathlon. So I was doing everything in my power not to put too much high impact on my knee during my trainings. So thankfully, cycling really helps with your aerobic conditioning, your cardiovascular health, lung and heart workout conditioning. So I did rely on that. And I did try to keep, looking at my heart rate and try to staying in a certain zone when I was riding my bike. I have to push pretty hard to get into a zone that is intense on my bike. It's a little harder to get into a zone 2, zone 3, especially by myself. But anyway, so there wasn't a lot of running, but my cycling went well. And I had to rely on my body's memory for running. I figured, I've been running for so long, for years, going to the triathlon and just running at that point after not running for a while, I wasn't really concerned too much about it. So my biggest challenge, obviously, during this entire time for training was focused on my biggest challenge was my knee. My physical challenge was my knee. I couldn't really think if there wasn't any other main challenges. Plus, I didn't focus my mind. I keep pretty occupied, as you may or may not know. I'm pretty occupied in the present moment and what's going on, especially what's going on with our clients, our Rockstars and Rock That Fitness, and what's happening in the business, what's happening in my family life. I stay pretty present. I don't think a lot. I just kind of go out and do my training for whatever I'm training for. So like I say, I didn't focus on being afraid of what was going to happen without my knee being, recovered. I wasn't worried so much. My limitation was my limitation, but thinking about the race and going into it, I feel like I was just excited to do it and have the opportunity to do it. And I feel like that, right? Don't you feel that way? What type of physical struggles or challenges do you face and also, does it keep you from signing up for an event? I don't know, whatever, thinking about your own, if you have a physical struggle, a physical limitation, or what kind of challenge you might have that you would face. Does it keep you from signing up for something, an event that you could potentially do, but you have perceived limitations? That's the question to ask yourself. Do you? What would prevent you from signing up for an event or something like this? So let me talk about this is the best part. This is going to be the whole best part of the whole episode today, is sharing with you my own personal experience with the whole triathlon day. So, first of all, I want to say that I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to go out of town and meet up with a few ladies and really get to know them outside of the Facebook Messenger group. And I'll tell you right now, I rarely spend very much time with people outside of my family, okay, or even outside of Rock That Fitness and social media. The only time I really do spend time with people in person is going to be like my family get-togethers and my family. And did I say my family? No, or on the nights when I have a show. When I have a show with my band, of course, or when I have rehearsal with my band, my guys that I do music with, and those nights that we have a show. And that's really fun too. But going out of town and meeting up with these ladies was a whole different story, right? I'm thinking, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into? Typically, when I go out of town for an event or something where I have to stay at a hotel, I usually get my own room because I just really enjoy my alone time. And I mean, let's face it. I like my alone time. I like to be able to do whatever I feel like doing whenever I'm not interrupting anybody or disturbing anyone or nobody disturbing me. Um, so I got myself in this, and I just want to say, for the record, these ladies, and I'm not going to name their names or anything, I keep them private, but they're amazing. And the energy was fantastic. It was really fun. We did stay together in the same hotel room, and they were just so loving, so kind. Everybody was encouraging each other. Everybody was helping one another. And yes, we did some shopping, unnecessary shopping, and some much needed shopping. We went and did packet pickup together, and I think we stayed in the store about 1,000,000 hours. And we waited for somebody to show up for a long, long time. But it was just a really good experience. I'm just so thankful. I feel like my entire experience was really, really, really good. And I can't say that I really didn't. Actually, I didn't have any preconceived ideas of these ladies, or what they would be like. I didn't even really think about it. But I was excited to get to know them, and it was fun. It was really fun. Um, okay, let's talk about the actual event. So I thought about taking my bike in to get a kind of a look-see over, a tune-up or something, but it hadn't been too long ago that I did a tune-up, so I didn't do a tune-up. And my tires and my tubes are relatively new, and I've cleaned my chain recently. So I was like, you know what? My bike is in pretty good shape. This is just a sprint triathlon. I'm not really concerned. So I packed up my bike and threw in my bike pump in there so I can air up my tires the day of the race. And so here's how it went down. We get there, and I'm by myself in my car, so I let the girls know I'll meet them. I'll meet you guys over at the tent or whatever. I'm going to air up my tires. We're in the morning, right? Like it is like 6 a.m. We're talking like 6 to 6:15 a.m. in the morning. It is dark out there. Getting my bike out of the car, and I start taking off the cap from the tube or from the tire, and it started making this sound like air is coming out. I'm like, what in the world? So that valve was acting really, really strange. I tried to tighten it. I think I tightened it. I aired up the tire. It was fine. I was like, okay, it's acting weird, but it's aired up and it's good. Go to my front tire. Same thing. I start to pull off the cap, and then psh, oh my gosh, I'm not even kidding you. I didn't even know what just happened, but a piece of the valve just like shot out, and the tube just went completely flat immediately. The front tire went flat. And I'm like, what is happening right now? You've got to be kidding. And I had a million thoughts. I'm thinking, okay, there's not a lot of time, but certainly there's got to be a tech that can help me with this. I do have a spare tube. I mean, I could change this tire. I know how, but is there really enough time to change the tire and get myself set up within the transition area with all my stuff? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna make a long story short here. Thank God. Thank you for a guy that was there that works for the bike shop. He's our friend, our group friend, and I'm gonna shout out his name. Joe Spicer, you saved my day. He was able to fix my valve, and he replaced both of them. He helped me out. I mean, like if it wasn't for him, I don't know what would have happened. So I'm really thankful that he was there and he changed that. He told me, listen, girl, if you don't know this, learn this from Joe. He said, You don't need those caps. And I always wondered, why are these caps on the stinking valve? And these are high pressured valves, right? They're Presta valves. Why do we put these things on there, especially when you know that when you twist those valves on, they tighten? So why do we have a black thing that doesn't, why do we have a black cap on these things that doesn't even like screw all the way on and tighten? And he said, they do nothing. You don't need them. So I don't recommend putting them on there. Pro tip. There you go. You're welcome. I'm passing it on. Anyway, okay, onward we go. And that took up some time. And so I had to go set up, and I'm setting up my stuff. It's dark, right? We're getting our thing. I lay out my towel. I lay out my stuff. And this lady who is in charge of making sure, I don't know, I don't even want to say this lady because I don't know who it was, but she's just doing her job and she's yelling at everybody, hurry up, ladies, 5 minutes. We had to be over to the pool. 5 minutes, and then like 3 minutes, 2 minutes. And I would get something, I'd run. I thought I had everything ready, and I'd run out of the transition area. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot my goggles. Go back, get my goggles. Run out of the train. Oh, and I forgot my earplugs. Oh, I run back. And I was back and forth. And this lady kept on yelling. And I kept thinking, why is she yelling? Because if she keeps yelling and I'm losing my focus, I felt like I was in boot camp all over again. Anyway, I managed to get my transition stuff ready, and I managed to have everything I needed. So I went to the pool, and at the pool, they're like getting everybody set up in line to get in the pool to do these. We're going to be swimming the pool in laps, and the lanes, they seemed extra large for lanes because I don't believe this was not an Olympic length pool. And so we would have to go, I don't even know, girl. This is not my thing. I think it was like a half size. We had to go down and back. When it came to the lanes, several lanes that we had to do. But anyway, here's part of the story that I think is kind of funny. I'm standing there asking the girls, like, I don't even know what my pace is because I trained tethered. They're like, oh my gosh, Anna. Well, let me just kind of guess. Like I said, well, I am a strong swimmer. I have a strong swim and proper form, good stroke, but I don't know my pace. So she recommended that I go into the line at this certain place. So this pace, she said, I think you could probably do a 2 minute or under 2 minute. I don't even know. All right. Here's the thing. I got in a place where I thought kind of guesstimated where would be a good pace for me. And then we start the race, and turns out my pace was pretty good. I should have probably been more advanced in the line because I ended up having to pass quite a few ladies, and it was really challenging to pass them because we're in one lane and we're going down one way and back the other, so there's hardly any space in between. So in order to pass somebody, you have to be in the center of the lane. So I'm passing somebody, I'm in the center, and I'm watching ahead to make sure I don't bump into the person coming towards me. So I had to overcome that. That was quite challenging. I'll tell you, I started my swim out pretty strong, and I think it's just like running. I think my pace was too fast in the beginning. I started out too fast, and I needed to catch my breath. So about halfway, I did some breaststroking so I could catch my breath and calm down. A lot of self-talk happening in this. It's like, the whole thing, like, just keep swimming. But most of all, Anna, calm down. You're going to get there faster if you slow down, pace yourself, breathe. So I got my mental state together doing that breaststroke. I'm like, after that, I finished the second half of that swim calmly, probably much more efficiently than I did the first half. And then boom, I'm out of the pool. And surprisingly, I did have a pretty decent pace. Anyway, I go get ready for my bike ride, and there I'm off on my bike. And I'm like, this is the best part of the whole race. Girl, that is my favorite part. It's always been my favorite part of the triathlon, the bike. I love it. So there was no hills, no wind. It's beautiful. The sun's coming up. It's a beautiful morning, flat. And I'm out there and we're riding and I'm watching this, right? I'm watching and I kept thinking to myself, how could I push myself? How can I do my best right now? And I had to keep reminding myself, this is my race. This is my own. And also so that I didn't lose energy with my mental state, I stayed very focused on where I was, my body, how I felt, my breathing, my strength, and my bike and my pace, my cadence and my speed. Tried to maintain that and keep my focus and not look at what everybody else is doing and see if there's somebody behind me. So I just focused on my pace and I pretty much kept, I will say, pretty much somewhere between 17 and 18 was my speed for the whole race. And I kept a cadence in the 90s. That was kind of what I found my flow in. And it was very comfortable and it felt really good. But man, so many lessons in there because it's just like anything in life, like finding your pace. Don't go too fast and just find a pace that is strong, efficient. And it doesn't mean that it has to be the fastest because going the fastest is not the most efficient. You're going to wear out. You're going to get tired. So finding that pace and not looking at what everybody else is doing, just staying focused on your own lane, like keeping your blinders on, keeping your eyes on your own paper, your own lane, right? And staying there, staying focused, just writing out your own race. So I kept that focus pretty much the entire time in the bike ride. I didn't have any issues riding my bike. That entire bike ride was without any problems. I don't even think there was a lot of passing people. I may have passed, I passed a couple of people. I think one person may have passed me, but it was, it's pretty good. It was fun. It was great. So then it was the run, right? This was going to be, I knew, I wasn't sure what I was getting into because, like I said, I had found out my diagnosis on my knee and I was like, the day that I found out, I cried a river of tears, something I'm never going to run again the way that I did. I'm never going to run again. Oh yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, went out there strong. And I was like, I am going to do a baby jog and I'm going to keep my pace that's comfortable, rhythmic. And I was very well hydrated. So I decided not to stop for water. I passed up the water stations. There was one water station that I did grab some water, but there were like 3 water stations along the way, I think. And I only took water from one and I didn't slow down at all. So I kept my baby jog the whole time. And I was very mindful. I kept thinking to myself, is my knee hurting me? Is it hurting? And girl, it wasn't. It just wasn't hurting me. So I continued. I'm like, I'm going to be able to do this 5K without walking. And so I did. And by the way, I should say this if I didn't already, the doctor said that he didn't see a problem with me participating in the entire course. And also if I wanted to run, he didn't see a problem. He just said, you're probably going to have pain and swelling the next day. And of course I did. But anyway, that run, I finished strong. And of course, if you've ever done any kind of race running and it's the end, you're going to sprint that puppy out till the end. And I did. And I'm so thankful that I was able to do the entire 5K without walking. It felt good. It was something I wanted to do for me. I wasn't there to prove anything to anybody else, but man, it felt great. And I'll tell you what, I soaked up every moment of the outdoors, of my feet hitting the ground, of the sun that morning. It was like, what if this is the last time I ever get to run? It was just really, really appreciating and having gratitude for what my body was able to do. Do you do that? It's just something. To me, it's like, that's what life is made of, So that's my experience of my entire race day. I wonder if you have any questions that I didn't answer about my race. When it comes to, you might be wondering, like, how do I prepare for a race like this, like with food or like, what's my energy level? I really pretty much don't do anything differently. The day before, like I'm not carb loading or anything like that. I did eat breakfast in the morning. I made myself some homemade oatmeal with some protein powder there in the room with the microwave. And that's pretty much what I had, because I had eaten I probably ate more than I normally do the day before, not intentionally, but we went to barbecue. I had potato salad, I had mac and cheese. So I had extra carbs, not on purpose, and I didn't like overdo it. So I wasn't that hungry. But anyway, I did eat, and there was plenty of time for my stomach to digest that stuff. And I definitely tanked up staying hydrated the day before, as well as that morning. I made sure I was hydrated for the race, because, girl, let me tell you, so many women, so many people do not hydrate. And I cannot express this, I cannot emphasize this enough. Being hydrated is a game changer for your performance. Every cell in your body is going to thank you if you go into your event, into your workouts, whatever you're doing physically. Stay hydrated. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is truly a game changer. It will definitely impact your performance if you're not hydrated. Okay. So we made it through the race, girl. We did it. So what did I learn? What did I learn from this experience? I learned that it's fun to hang out with other women, not just any, but women that have the same exciting drive to push beyond their perceived limits, to challenge themselves, to do something outside of their comfort zone and do something that's uncertain. In fact, I just applaud one of the ladies. It was her first triathlon. I was so proud of her. I'm going to just go ahead and shout it out. It was Patricia. It was her first time. She placed third in her age category. Congratulations, Patricia. So proud of you. It was so fun to see her doing her first triathlon. It kind of gets me a little choked up, because she did something she had never done before. And also just want to shout out to Rachel, who coordinated us staying at the hotel together. So she coordinated our little band. I want to shout out to Christina for all of her just support along the entire race route, and all the pictures she took for us, and all of her encouragement and cheering us on. And thank you to Patricia's husband, who took so many pictures. If it wasn't for Patricia's husband and Christina taking photos throughout the race, I wouldn't have had all those pictures that I had to share. So I was really thankful for that. Country Boy did not come with me, so I couldn't count on him. And Brooke couldn't come with me because, well, she has her physical limitation. And there's something else, some other reason she couldn't come, which I cannot remember now, but it wasn't planned. So anyway, I was thankful for them. I learned that when you are with the people that are like-minded, it is a joy. It's truly a joy. And, they say that your vibe attracts your tribe. There was definitely a cool rock star vibe. And also it was really cool to have both Patricia and Rachel sporting the Rockstar tri-suit. So together we were the Rock That Fitness team. And it was so cool. I thanked them for that. I thought that was really cool. It was such an honor that they thought enough of me, of Rock That Fitness, and of the design that I had a big hand in designing. It was really cool. So girls, ladies, if you're listening, thank you for that. I can't thank you enough for being a part. We had this team. It was great. It was beautiful. So I learned that. I think I'm pretty easygoing, and I can be in a group pretty easygoing. I don't feel like I have to control anything, and I had a fun time. It was really fun. Actionable tips for you. I want to ask you again, what do you think? What ways would you push beyond your own limits? What kind of mental limitations are you placing on yourself? And think about those things. And I do want to encourage you to challenge yourself. If you don't challenge yourself in some way, shape, or form on any regular basis, girl, what are you doing, girl? I might be you might be thinking, oh, you're stepping on my toes. Well, I am. You know why? Because I love you. And I know that you were meant for so much more. Now, I'm not saying if you have a physical limitation, go do something that you're going to hurt yourself, harm yourself more. I'm not saying that. I'm saying work around your limitations. Find solutions to your perceived problems. Work around them, navigate them, live your life to the fullest, find ways to challenge yourself. If you're not doing something that scares you and excites you at the same time on a regular basis, what's going on? Do it and find other women to do that with. Find other women that you can connect with so that you have the support, the encouragement, the love, the hope that you know these women have done it. You can do it too. The camaraderie. And it's not about comparing. It's not about comparing each other, competing with each other. It's about being each other's cheerleader. I hope you have that in your life. And if you don't, I'm going to talk about a way that you can have that, which I was going to talk about in the beginning. I completely forgot. Seek that support group. I want to challenge you to challenge yourself. And I want you to think about yourself, like visualize yourself having success. Surely there is something in you that you have never done that would be exciting and scary to do, that you could sign up for. And yes, there's going to be a huge amount of uncertainty. There will be. That's just the nature of challenging yourself. Expect it. And you don't have to like it, but trust that when you go through it, it's a growing process. You're going to learn and grow. You're going to be living life to the fullest. It's going to change you from the inside out. And it's going to help you achieve your health and fitness goals because you're going to be focused so much more on all these other things that help change you and help you become more of the person you were meant to be. And that's where the beauty is. Like, that's where the true benefit of setting a goal really is. It's not in achieving that goal. It's not in accomplishing that event and doing that entire event. Any kind of goal that you set, it's not that outcome that's really beneficial. The secret is, and it is a cliche, and I wrote this in this email today, cliches are cliches for a reason. There's truth in them. It's not about the outcome. It's not about the goal. It's about the person you're becoming along the way. This is why they say the joy is in the journey, not the destination. So find ways, whatever you choose as your outcome, your goal, whatever you're visualizing you want to have success in, girl. Find ways to enjoy the process, the training, the actionable steps you have to take in order to achieve these goals, these whatever it is that you want to achieve. Embrace the process and find ways to make it enjoyable for yourself so that you can be waking up in the morning with intention to take action and do the things that is required to someday eventually reach whatever that goal is. And here's the exciting part of this. When you are enjoying the process and you are truly taking it day by day, taking the action steps to accomplish this goal, to accomplish this event, to whatever, train for whatever it is you're trying to get to, that destination, here's the exciting part of that. You're going to be enjoying the whole journey so much. You're going to be partying like a rock star girl in the way that you're going to get to this destination. And you're going to be like, wow, I'm here. Like, you are just going to be showing up. It's, in other words, to make it more understandable, is what I'm trying to say is that doing these action steps to take care of your health, your fitness, your mental health, and not being so focused on the outcome, doing these things and becoming the person you are meant to be is way more valuable and beneficial. And when you do these things, guess what? The byproduct is reaching those goals. So when you're taking the steps to take care of your health, your fitness, your mental health, all of these things, when you're doing these things and you're taking the actions that are in alignment with your goals, your fat loss, your weight loss, you're getting stronger, you're building muscle. All of these things are going to be a byproduct. You're losing inches. You are getting healthier, stronger, fitter. Those are the byproducts of all of these actionable steps you're taking that are in alignment with your goals. So I hope there was something in here that helps you, encourages you, and inspires you to go beyond your perceived limits and challenge yourself in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Because your journey, your ultimate physique goal it's not just about the physical change. like I said, it's about growing stronger mentally and emotionally. Okay. It's about who you're becoming. That's it. All right. And now, the last thing, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, this episode is brought to you by, are you ready for this? I am so freaking stoked and excited about this. Brought to you by the next Rock That Fitness Kickstart Challenge. Rockstars and Rockstar listeners. I say rock stars. Rock stars, all of you are rock stars. But I am talking to you if you're not a part of Rock That Fitness, or you're not doing a challenge, you're not doing a program with us. This is for you. If you finally want to change your life from the inside out, who you are, becoming that healthy, fit, strong, leaner, fitter you, and you haven't taken steps towards that, this is your opportunity to do that, because this is the next 6-week challenge that's coming. And it's coming September. We're going to be opening up registration September 9th. And we're going to kick off the next 6-week challenge September the 16th. But open registration for the next six-week challenge is coming. It's going to be happening September 9th. So what you want to do right now, ready to take action, girl, is get on the list so that you'll be the first to know when we open up registration, and you're going to save the monies. Anybody that's on that list, or anybody that attends the fat loss webinar masterclass that I'm going to be doing, right? Remember that. That's also going to be in the show notes. Those two groups of people are going to be saving $100 off on the next 6-week challenge. So if you've missed 6-week challenges in the past, this is your opportunity. Get on the list. It's fall. I know everybody's schedules are changing. So this is your opportunity to put this on your schedule and kick off your fall. Go into the last quarter of the year with a plan so you can stay focused on taking care of your health and your fitness, and being surrounded and immersed with other women that are doing the same things, that have the same kind of goals, the drive, the love, the support, the encouragement. That is what I'm talking about, girl. And so go to the show note links, go to the link in the show note, get on the list. When you go to that page, it's going to show you all the details. So like I say, if that's something you want to do, girl, do it. We're here for you. We're going to be supporting you. And here, one more thing before I go, one more thing I must mention. We're going to be doing something very exciting and different for this next 6-week challenge that we've never done. And this is going to be round 6, by the way. This is round 6 of the 6-week challenge. One of the things we haven't done before, we're going to do this time, which we're really excited about, is rather than having a private Facebook group just for those 6-week challengers, we are going to invite you in to experience Rock That Fitness membership while you're doing the small group focused 6-week challenge with your other Rockstar challengers. You're going to get to experience Rock That Fitness membership during your 6-week challenge. So I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. If you have any questions, you can reach me. You can send me a message. You can email me at rockthatfitness.com. At Anna@rockthatfitness.com, or rtfteam@rockthatfitness.com. Or you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, and you can ask any questions there. And don't forget, this masterclass is also going to be in the show notes. You can sign up for that, register for free. This masterclass is, it's a masterclass, fat loss for women over 40. Okay. The 3 secrets to sustainable success. I want to share with you the 3 secrets to shed the fat and to keep it off. Forever, not ever needing another diet program again. That's what we do, girl. That's what we do. That's what rock stars do. We are done playing the games. We're done with the diets, the gimmicks, the quote unquote shortcuts, and we're making it a lifestyle, and we're enjoying every minute of the ride. So get in here some way, some shape or form. You're going to love it. You're going to change your life inside and out. So thank you for listening once again, all of you Rockstar listeners. I love you so very much. Thank you for supporting this podcast episode. Would love to hear any comments, feedback, input that you have about the podcast, about anything. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, please would love for you to leave a rating and review, or a review, but give us some 5 stars, girls, so that this gets pushed out to more listeners and I can do more. I can help more women actually achieve their goals in their health and their fitness, because I've been there. I know the frustration. I know how it feels hopeless at times, and you're just sick and tired. And I don't want to see another woman suffer like that, because it's not necessary. You can actually really, really actualize your dreams of having your own fit, leaner, fitter, stronger, healthier body. You can do that. All right. All right. Let's go. Stay strong and rock on. Love you.